going on, YouTube? I'm going to do something a little different this time. What we got going on today is I'm going to bring you into an in-office, in-studio vlog. You'll see I got the green screen. It's kind of a little on the janky side just because I threw it up just for the vlog. Essentially what the green screen is, just so you can't see the whole full house, my house, while I'm working, because I do work from home doing this type of work. But essentially what we got going on is I just finished up doing some photos for a prom. For you guys that don't know, I've run a full digital media service, from live streaming to photography to videography, and DJing and lighting services. So this particular vlog is a little weird to kind of show people, oh, what did you do? Because I took pictures for prom pictures. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring you into the green screen a little bit, and then I'm going to take you to the editing. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how the setup is. Essentially what I have is I'm going to take you to my computer screen while I'm working on my computer, show you some of the edits, and then kind of do a little bit of the voiceover work while we're doing that. Alright guys, so what I'm going to show you is I'm going to kind of show you what I do when I'm editing a simple photo like this, right? It's pretty wide in its composition. There's some stuff in the background I don't want, but essentially I have a good composition at home. So the first thing I usually do is I always frame the picture up to rule of thirds. So for this particular picture, we're going to go ahead and make it a landscape picture, okay, which means it's going to be going like from left to right. So I go 4x6 over here, which is traditional print size, and then I do 4x6. Now the rule of thirds basically equates to making sure your subject of interest is on the two lines here that cross either vertical or horizontal. So I've got my guy and my girl here hitting the rule of thirds as best as we can for the composition. Then I'm going to crop it. So now we got a good image in regards to like textbook versions. So what I like to do before I even start editing a picture, which this one's pretty good, is I like to just go ahead and add an HDR layer. What this will do is it'll make some of the colors pop. Now, in an image like this, I usually use kind of an airy edit, but I also want to darken the background. So what I do is I go up here to my editing tool, okay, and I add an adjustment layer. And then essentially, or sorry, let me take that back. I go up to my color tool, and then I go to more, and then I go down to mask, and then I'm going to adjust my colors. So I'm going to highlight or cover all of the guy as well as the girl in the picture, as you can see. Alright, I got them selected, and then I need to also deselect a little bit of the concrete. So I'm going to go back and hit the subtract button right here, deselect the parts that's the concrete, soften up the edges, and then what I've done is I have a selection tool that's all selected down. But the thing is I'm actually going to change the darkness of the foreground. So I'm going to do an invert, so that way it selects everything that I just selected and kind of flip-flops it. So if you take a look, as I click it, you'll see that it's inverted now. Okay? So with an inversion, I can actually control the background. Okay, so my goal is to make the background look a little warmer. So I'll go over here to the temperature and add some reds to it. Then I want them to pop, so I'm going to take and make it darker. And then right there, when I make it darker, I can start to see what I call the blending effect, right? So right here in this general area, I can see where I'm starting to edit. Around here, you can see the color change. So all that means is I just need to add a little extra right there on the edges, right? It's almost like cutting them out, right? So I can get that temperature right across the image. Alright, so that fixes that, but then we got a little bleed onto the head, so we're going to subtract some off of her face. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing around his head. I'm going to cover his head a little bit, and then I'm going to take it right back out and soften it. And then essentially I can control the deep darkness to it and some of the temperature, right? And then that way I get a little bit more of a warmer tone. Now with that being so drastic, you can kind of tell that it's over edited. So I'm going to take a little bit out, and then I'm going to apply. Now that gives us our warm tones we're looking for. Then what I have to usually do, and this usually works for most men, is that you have to usually lighten the shadows on them. In this particular shoot, I didn't have a flash, so I just highlight the face, highlight his, lighten the shadows up, and then it's almost like putting flash on them. Then typically the only thing I would do now to finish this edit is I'd go to my film, and then I usually like to use some kind of grain. This filter right here adds a little bit of contextual framing, or not framing, but contextual, like kind of a filter, a preset, and I just turn it down where it's not so intense. And then I take and then also bring my temperature back down so it adds the effect of the same layer to everything. And then at this point, when I look at the image, again, something like this is subjective to, art style, but I'm kind of comfortable with this image. So then I would finalize it by saving it, but you can't see the save screen whenever I do OBS Studio, but just know I'm hitting save as, and then I'm putting this image into a folder that's going to be an edited folder, and essentially we have a final edit. And then that's how I typically edit my photos. So, with that being said, I'm going to go through, I'm going to give a little time lapse of some of the other editing I did, and then bring you into some highlights, and then kind of wrap up a vlog like that. Enjoy. Alright, YouTube, again, like I said, what we're doing right now, I'm going to start editing, but before I take you to the screens to show you how the editing setup is, I'm going to show you a little bit about like how my desk setup is laid out a little bit. Okay? See, I got my mechanical keyboard. I always gotta have a mechanical keyboard. I love the clicky sounds. That's just me. I like to hear the clicks when I'm editing. And then if you take a look over here, you'll see I have my voice recorder. That's usually where I'm doing all my dubs. So essentially when I get to the part where you guys hear my voice but don't see me, that's where it's getting recorded. And then over here I got my sound card, or not my sound card, but my SD card reader. That's where I essentially put all my content on, or get my content off. A couple backup USB drives, a sound recorder, my Mac Mini, and then my machine that I actually do most of my editing on, which is Windows based, and then obviously my Canon R. So, and my phone, because I got to play some tunes. But essentially what I'm getting ready to do now is I'm going to get you into the editing and show you how it's all done. Also, we got OBS Studio running in the background. This is kind of how the computer's set up on my first monitor. It's OBS Studio recording video of me editing inside the computer. I got one set of photos, or one photo up, ready to edit in an editor, and then I have my workflow over here. So that's what we're going to do now is I'm going to cut you into the editing process.